you fucking little cunt. Right, hopefully this will do the job. Sometimes the condo Wi-Fi works, sometimes it doesn't. Right, are we getting there? Yeah, looks like it. Okay. So if anyone's here, otherwise I'll just go off to Telegram. That'd be the easiest route. Okay. So hopefully you can see the stream. There's no one here, but hi, Alan. Good stuff. That's you and me then. So I'll just get my games up and running. And then we can get organised because we're expecting goals in Germany today. So let's get down. 20 minutes would be the starting point. So we're already 10 minutes in. All 1.6 odds or over. Hi, Michael. Hi, Alan. Thank you very much. Hi, John. Nice to see you. Thanks very much. And sorry for the cock up earlier on. It's the local Wi-Fi. When it starts to go down, I transferred.
Goal. Augsburg RB Leipzig is 0-1.
Well, the goals are coming in already with Augsburg and Leipzig. Don't forget, we're expecting over 2.5 goals in every single match today. That's what the bookies are telling me. 1.6 odds and lower for every single one of these matches. Cultural Leonessa, it's very equal with the expected goals, but huge gap there, no shots. But the backup shows, well, it's a little lacking, isn't it, from Cultural Leonessa? 54 minutes and then 76 minutes. So that looks wonderful on paper, doesn't it? 12 shots off target, but absolutely nothing going on second half. 7 corners as well. There's the more 4 corners second half, but it would be a 109, 106 definitely if you wanted to take on Quetta there. Just not enough consistent momentum from them. Hi, Paul and Simone. Nice to see you. So good stuff. Everything's working all right. So we're just waiting for the goals to come in the Bundesliga. 20 minutes would be the first port of call if you're going to be doing overs there today. Frankfurt, St. Pauli got a good chance of both teams to score. I would say St. Pauli are the vulnerable ones there today. Starting to find it a little bit tough, the Bundesliga. They've survived last season, I think. Hamburg, newly promoted as well, against the Wolf. Favourites today. And Bayern Munich, post-Champions League, is the only concern with them. Maybe some of these stars have been rested with this apparent easier assignment, Borussia Mönchengladbach. And the mighty Hoff and Heidenheim should be both teams to score goal before half-time match. We've already got the lead for Leipzig, so absolutely No surprises there. So I don't know if you're playing overs or not. It's not something I tend to do, apart from being neutral, playing the overs markets.
Goal.
But 20 minutes
Girona Oviedo is 2-2.
would be a first port of call. And Oviedo have a goal back against Girona. Or is it the other way round? They came from behind, I think. No, they led. It was 0-2 to Oviedo. It's Girona that got 2 goals back. Wow. So that could Desmond could be one for a 1.09, 1.06 later on. Lots of action. And that was the Cheltenham one earlier on. Again, Walsall. Can you imagine if you put your money on Walsall again for the second consecutive week? Failing to secure a win against 10 men last week. Absolutely awful. If you wanted to at this early stage, you could already put your 1.09 in. I put £23 there because that's a £2 liability. And 1.06. And if the goal comes before that, I don't lose any money. Now, again, it's a £2 liability. So about a 54 quid return for £4, which is not too shabby. And we just seen with Cheltenham, the goals do come in. Plenty of a story here. Lots of second half goals. Girona Oviedo and a comeback game as well. So Oviedo will be kicking themselves, newly promoted, and they will be keen to get the win. Girona will be keen to finish the job with home advantage, having a really poor season at the moment, aren't they? Considering they were in the Champions League, they're a seed club for Manchester City. So we're getting to the 15-minute mark. It's quiet enough. I wonder if the market's accurate today. So I do follow these 1.6 favourites and lower. I'm recording them every day. And you see a lot of patterns, especially second half goal patterns. Very, very strong indeed. Just going to see if we can build up some other matches before the 3 o'clocks come in. But as you've seen in Saturdays gone by, we do tend to overtrade, get ourselves too involved in these lower tiers. So a deliberate attempt for me today to just step back from that. It's just a consistent problem. Get caught out. English League 1, English League 2, Czech 1 League, Romanian 1 League. They tend to be shouting out goals, 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 and then they just don't deliver. So I'm quite happy to take a back seat unless there's a compelling argument today. Championship, well, these are the ones that are over. Mansfield were looking to get the late win, as you can see there earlier on. Fleetwood deserved win against Accrington Stanley. Premier League at 3 o'clock. Montpellier Nancy, so one-way traffic. The red card taking effect there. Didn't get to that one in time, alas, but that's what you want to see when it's 0-1 and they've been red carded. Boom. Straight through for Montpellier.
Goal. Hamburg Wolfsburg is 0-1.
Italian Serie A, Udinese against Lecce. This is no surprise at all. Parma and Como. This is no surprise at all. You know what you're going to get with Parma, don't you? 0-0s. I think I would be favouring old Perry here today under Cesc Fabregas. Tends to do a really good job. Serie B. Anything of interest there? Was a 0-0 to look into. Sampdoria doing a good job. And odds on favourite at home, always worth a look, particularly for second half goals. We've got to set up Football 24 as well. We do need a string of a stream of goals coming in. Can't be reliant just on the matches I'm picking out here. So Germany, have we missed anything yet? Wolfsburg have the opener against Hamburg. I'm not too keen on taking on a Wolfsburg lead against a newly promoted side, even though they've got a crowd of 60-odd thousand at home. It doesn't feel like a newly promoted side. One to watch out for, definitely. It is a goals league today. I'll put it that way. It's a neutral over 2.5 goal league. That's what the bookies are saying. So not the strongest favourite in the world either, 2.2 at home. I'm quite happy to sit that one out for the time being.
This market has been suspended.
Got a suspended market again. Hope you're all okay over on YouTube. And I'll just pick out the leagues now. Nice and quick. We can get rid of all the others we don't need to know the score lines for. So you can, I'll just do the Czech one league in case either of the Prague sides are playing today. Let's get rid of the Danish First Division. We don't need that today. Premier League, Championship, League One, League Two. Anything else is illiquid. And if I was being disciplined today, I would untick
Goal.
those two.
TSG Hoffenheim-Heidenheim is 1-0.
And there's that first goal in the Hoffenheim match. I did 20 minutes was your first port of call if you wanted to look
Goal.
at overs.
Augsburg RB Leipzig is 0-2.
And looks like the Desmond Tutu might be ending in the Girona match. So 20-minute mark if you're doing over 2.5 goals would have been my first port of call, but you're always going to be expecting goals before half time for the Hoff, and indeed possibility of both teams to score. So that's not a surprise to come early. That's not a surprise either. Augsburg all over the shop at the moment. Leipzig back to their very best. They had a season in the wilderness, but now they're back and winning regularly. Bayern Munich must have been a delayed start there. So just catch up with the leagues. French Liga. I'll do Ligue 2 today and the Bundesliga as well. Greek Super League, just if the big boys are playing. Eredivisie, Eerste Divisie, if you're looking at a goals angle. Italian Serie A, Serie B. And work our way down. So we can get rid of all of this noise and just focus.
Goal. Girona Oviedo is 3-2.
And there's that Desmond ending. I was a bit optimistic, 109, 106. It was a good story for a Desmond Tutu, wasn't it? Second half goals, a side letting a 2-goal lead slip, another side getting the comeback at home and looking to put the cherry on top, which they've done. By all means, lay before if the argument is compelling enough for you. As you know, I like to keep my liabilities as low as possible. Sometimes miss out on the old profit, though. That's a pity. And I can't really cover a 2-2. You could lay over 4.5 goals, I suppose. Just doing the Premiership today in Scotland. Well, no. Championship, I like what I've seen from Partick Thistle and from St Johnstone, the top two in those leagues. Spanish Primera and Spanish Segunda will be the only two to look at there. And Allsvenskan, we can have the luxury of getting rid of the Superettan. And hopefully, by focusing on the quality this weekend, we don't have that noise, do we? And we don't have that consistent liability build-up, which the bookies want us to have, because it's their day, Saturdays. So I'll just clean up some of this. There's that Desmond coming in. I don't think it got my 109, 106. No, not quite. Right part of the game, right idea, far too ambitious. Stuani. What you can do in the future, you can perhaps do it by time. You can say to yourself, when it hits 90th minute, I'm going to lay the... Now we've got goals coming in, and it's 0-3 to Leipzig. We don't need to be following this match anymore. That's the 2.5 goals coming in there, but the goals are starting to trickle in slowly. But Bayern Munich, it's an early start or a late start for them. So just clean up
Goal.
Some of these.
Augsburg RB Leipzig is 0-3.
Don't really have an interest in the Czech leagues today. Parma, it wouldn't surprise me. I think I might do what I did with Genoa last week. But I think Como will make a breakthrough. This is what I did with Genoa last week, and it worked very well, didn't it? Pisa. No, it's not Pisa, is it? Parma. So this is probably going to be quite high because it's Parma. And therein lies the problem, because you have to write this liability off. and it's far too high, isn't it? You have to write that off if you're going to use this system, because if an early goal comes in from Como, or if Palmer get an early penalty, that's your system stuck. So I don't like that liability. You can, if it makes you feel better, start with a 20, and you can still create a very good value lay of the draw. If Palmer continue to be a real pain and really hard to score against and hard to score a goal. So I would be sitting on that, and the plan is that Palmer are going to do what they did against Genoa, keep this at 0-0 for enough time for these odds to go down. And remember, we're only using a £20 stake here today, which becomes liability. And let's say, for example, we can get it down to 1.6 or 1.5 for your £20 liability. You can dig yourself out 39 quid rather than laying now at 2.34. And you've got that 0-0 covered all the while. So it's a compelling when it works. And two of them in a row, I could have laid at 1.06 and lower to win huge amount. We're talking 280, 300 quid for a risk-free late lay that you've already got the 0-0 covered. And that's the kind of team you do it with, Palmer for sure. But there is a concern that Como under Cesc Fabregas are a bit good. Culture and Leonessa coming to the end of that match. 109, 106, I said. That's their sole shot on target there. 84th minute. Momentum going up at the end of the match. Likely, I think we've missed that particular opportunity. Leonessa, probably under Leonessa. Okay. No. Right. Well, I'm piling in. Rising momentum right at the end of the match. So you can start off with a 20. And then when it gets to 106, you can do another 20 if you wanted. You can look at the liability, and it's with a good argument. I noticed them a bit earlier on, and this is costing you nothing to find out, and costing you 40 quid profit. You can see the momentum is rising. They've just got their first shot on target, 84th minute. The clock's not our friend, of course. They've got the backup. Lots and lots of pressure. Shots off in corners. So we will see. It's not going to cost us anything to find out. I really hope you did the Desmond on your own back there. That was a nice and quick, but I was delaying a little longer, waiting for the second half there. Avellino, there's a red card involved here. And it looks like it's a good reaction from Spezia, but my only negative with Spezia is their position in the league, 20th in the league. That's why Palmer and Girona last week, I covered that 0-0 because Genoa were 20th in the league, despite bossing the stats like Spezia, they couldn't cross the line.
This market has been suspended.
But if you do lay the draw in these matches, if the 11 players score first, you're going to get up to a double figure movement. So look out for that. Up to you if you wanted to play 20th in the league. You'd have to be, have to trust them a little bit. Very, very quiet Eintracht Frankfurt and St. Pauli here. Not really your over 2.5 goal show, is it? It's probably St. Pauli's defensive setup, you would argue. Hamburg are showing enough as an odds-on favourite, or not an odds-on favourite, but as a home favourite. Well, in front of that huge, huge support. Was it 60,000 or something? 57,000. It's the population of Guernsey. As you can see, expected goals is not shining just yet, i.e. the chances are not their best. Hence, no shots on target, 2 off 3 corners, 17 attacks to 6. It's up to you whether you want to take the established Wolfsburg on, but they are on a bit of a horrendous run at the moment, aren't they? Really poor stuff. But look who they've played. Stuttgart in the Champions League, I believe. Leipzig, not in the Champions League this season, but are one of those type of sides. And Dortmund. So fair dues. It's been a tough gamble or a tough set of fixtures for Wolfsburg of late. This might be gentle respite for them. We will see, but it's not top priority. If you wanted a neutral play, you could see what the over 2.5 goals is at the moment. So let's have a look. Probably have to put the ER on here. So this will provide you with a neutral play, probably 1.6 is it? It's heading that way. Don't forget, you've already got one goal there already. And you've got 60 minutes to go. As you know, it's not a market I tend to play as a trader. I play it as a hedger. So it's difficult for me to put a full liability on this one. And I don't have an exit point. I have to work those out. Maybe you could just have a neutral, a simple exit point, a third of your liability as loss. So if it gets £40, it gets down to a £13 red here. Just say I've given them enough chance to score a goal. Or of course, you could use the in-play stats to show you which of these is going to mirror what the bookmakers expect, such as Leipzig. Hoff would always do that for you, wouldn't they? Bayern Munich, you'd have expected them to do something here, but of course it's a bit early there. So I would expect as well competition from Hamburg. They were on an unbeaten run since their last match, until their last match against Leipzig. And as you know, Leipzig are in really solid form at the moment. Hamburg at home as well have scored 6 goals in 2 matches. Mainz and Heidenheim. So that's good form. So there's just not enough action going on. It's a good story to take Wolfsburg on, given the fact they're in such woeful condition. But they have been playing the better sides, and they did draw 3-3 with newly promoted Köln. So I'm getting tempted in here with Hamburg. Just want to see them coming alive a little bit. The 3 o'clocks are beginning, so let's just prepare, because we don't want to be bogged down with English League 1, English League 2 and the Championship, unless it's a compelling argument, or unless we're dealing with odds-on favourites. Chelsea and Sunderland, the expected goals for Chelsea is just far too good. Newcastle, Fulham, 3 consecutive away defeats. Only the Champions League fatigue would undo Newcastle. Man United, 3 consecutive home wins and beaten Liverpool. It's surely a sign of the end times, this, when they start putting that form together. Both teams to score is a regular Brighton tactic, so I think evens is a bit too short. You know what United are like anyway, don't you? Creating some very good chances, by the way, Man United. And Liverpool, 3 consecutive defeats, I think, in the Premier League, 4 overall until that was ended midweek emphatically. And in the English Championship, I want to collect my odds-on favourites, and there aren't many, which tells you a story. Middlesbrough, the usual crew. We had our odds-on favourites earlier on today in Coventry and Ipswich, I believe. So just Middlesbrough really would be the main focus, but I'm quite open to these matches if there's a compelling in-play stats argument, or there's a red card or something like that. Odds-on favourite Wimbledon, Barnsley, Luton odds-on away, and that's about it. Some are on the cusp, but we don't want to get bogged down. I think I've shown you time and time again how going down into this league is just can't be trusted. The stats can show you everything, but they just won't deliver. I like Ilves in the Veikkausliiga, so we'll be looking for Gunistan to do something here. Post-Champions League, Paris Saint-Germain, Monaco and Marseille. Looks like a tough match in store, so the market says, for Marseille, who are in electric form. Could be a mirror of their Paris Saint-Germain 1-0 win, this one, I think, later on. Saint-Etienne, newly promoted and newly relegated, and looking like they're enjoying Ligue 2. That will be one for later on. And our over 2.5 goal bookmakers, well, this is all wrong anyway. Hopefully we're not having any issues with the data feed. Odds on favourite Hertha Berlin. We had a goal come in. Lokomotiv Zagreb and Dender. So nothing too much to report just yet. Don't forget we've got that possibility of that Spezia Calcio ending that uh, second half, ending that draw against 10 men. So we'll have a look at that one. I'm not sure. Well, we've got a red card for Borussia Mönchengladbach. So that's going to open up the floodgates for Bayern Munich. It's on the 20-minute mark if you want to do something ridiculous like any other away score. Sound is very low. Okay. Are you the only one having the problem? Because it's up at the very top here. I can turn the desktop audio down a little bit. I don't want to be messing with this too much, but I hope you can hear me okay there. That was the first complaint from Enoch. And nice to see you again. So warming up. Just going to catch up with the odds-on favourites, and we've got the goals coming in. That's absolutely no surprise at all for Chelsea. Let's go over and have a look at Bayern Munich, who have been a little subdued. Is this going to ignite them today? This is clearly post-Champions League. No, it's not, is it? It's an early kickoff. So what am I talking about? First half goals 2.5. Well, that's quite tempting. Because normally with over 2.5 goals, you've got to wait for the 20-minute mark to create value. Not in this case, though. Over 3.5 goals could be value, but first half goals 2.5. That looks quite, under the circumstances, that's quite decent. But it's illiquid, as you can see. We're fighting that. Just wait for this to tighten up a little bit. While we're doing that, keep an eye on the goals coming in. And that's why I've got to list my odds-on favourites. You can see the goals are coming in. And we've got a goal for Eintracht Frankfurt. So you've seen waiting for 20 minutes. If you're involved with over 2.5 goals, got the Frankfurt one. And Borussia Mönchengladbach and Bayern Munich is delayed. So you can wait for 20 minutes on that one. Or you can do that 2.5 first half goals lay, which is very decent value given the circumstances. First half goals 2.5. So again, it's frustrating, isn't it? You want to have a play, but the odds are just ridiculous. And there's no real. This is the liquid avenue. Half-time score, you can go 0-3, any unquoted, and it's just woeful. It's just a big surprise for this Bundesliga. These are really profitable markets. That's a little more tolerable. A little more tolerable. So just a little. Don't get too carried away. But we've got a very good chance. Backing, or you could back over 2.5 goals. You can drip back as well if you wanted, i.e., put in 3 or 4 quid at 6.4, wait for it to go to 7.4, put in another 2 or 3 quid there. That way you're not overexposed if it remains 0-0 for a longer period. But we've hit the 20-minute mark. We've got the red card. We are hoping for goals. In the meantime, we've got a possible play here with Wrexham scoring first against Middlesbrough. You followed me midweek, I think, with Wrexham, or was it midweek or last week? They had that real problem at home scoring that second goal, didn't they? I wonder if that continues away from home. Certainly Middlesbrough are in excellent form at the moment. That's certainly one that I want to be monitoring. I like what I've seen from Middlesbrough. I like what I've seen from Wrexham as far as taking them on when they're leading. So if that goal is confirmed, that would interest me. And you can see it's occurred in an odds-on favourite match. That's why it's been highlighted here for me to investigate, particularly in the Championship, League One and League Two. You want to do your proper investigations. You can tell how tough these leagues are. 2.4, 2.2 the favourite. 2.5 the favourite, 2.5 the favourite. The bookies can't even pick a winner. So what chance have you got? And compound that
Goal.
with the likes of this lot.
Middlesbrough Wrexham is 0-1.
And it's all over the place. So we've got the Middlesbrough Wrexham opener here. I like Middlesbrough. I know it's a lower tier, but if we're talking about
Augsburg RB Leipzig is 0-4.
If we're talking about keeping a lid on over trading, this is another
Goal.
method. Teams that you know
Eintracht Frankfurt St. Pauli is 1-0.
and teams that you can rely upon. Okay, Middlesbrough for me at this stage of the season have had the air of reliability about them. So that's another way. Get yourself a shortlist. You know, the half before half time, that kind of a thing. Chelsea can be relied upon at the moment. So I'll just get this back. So the Middlesbrough match is of definite interest. Djurgardens, again, this was another one of those over 2.5 goal matches under 1.6. You can see they keep piling in the goals. Apart from Germany, of course. So where was I? We're going to be looking at Middlesbrough. So I want to get the Middlesbrough up here. It's probably too early in the match for us to see any reaction from Middlesbrough, isn't it? It's only 9 minutes in. I'm interested in this because I think Wrexham are blunt in attack. Yes, they've got 2 goals in the locker, but they do concede. So I wouldn't be too concerned if this went 0-2. What we can do, because we're in the Championship, we can look at covering everything. John H is here, and he's the one who doff your hat to for this excellent idea. Both teams to score no, to win the amount you want to play with. So that's going to be backed at these odds here. Then, for me, correct score. Because it came in with Roma 2-1. I know 1 or 2 of you disagree with me on this, but I would be looking at 1-2 here to win my stake. Now, if this all goes south, you put your hands up, eh? If it goes 0-3 or 1-3, well, if it goes 1-3, you're stuck. But look at the liability there, and John H's idea here. So 9 and 5 is 14. That covers 0-1, 0-2, 0-3. It covers 1-2 to Wrexham as well, because I'm not interested in 1-1, because 1-1 will get this ignited. So now we can have carte blanche to go straight into the match odds market. And you can get Borough at a decent 3.1, given it's so early in the match. And they are in decent nick. And Wrexham, I'm pinning my hopes on them struggling with that second goal and conceding, as they tend to do. But they do have 2 goals in them. They can be a little enthusiastic. So if it's an early 0-2 lead for Wrexham, I would be backing Borough again with £5, laying Wrexham again with £5 liability. Then, if that becomes 1-2, I've got an out. As you saw midweek, I made a £6 loss in one of the matches where it was looking at a £50 loss, just because I averaged up. So that's something for you to think about. The goals are flowing, so we just need to do a little bit of a catch-up. I might pass the Middlesbrough one onto Telegrammers, but without the 2.5 goals. The both teams to score no cover. So let me just get that to Telegrammers. My first potential play here today. I've liked what I've seen from Middlesbrough. Wrexham, I'm pinning my hopes on them not scoring that second goal. They have struggled for that second goal, but if they do score it, I'm not going to be concerned too much. I've laid over 1.5 goals. Well, for you, lay over 1.5 goals. Back Middlesbrough half stake, lay Wrexham half stake as liability. I have, in fact, gone both teams to score no and covered the 1-2 to Wrexham, but it's a bit difficult to explain it to you. No, it's a clear post-Champions League malaise, isn't it, for Bayern Munich today? Or it's maybe simply they're changing the bit of the team around with that recent run of matches. So our odds-on favourites and our Premier League matches as well, Newcastle and Fulham. It's going to be a struggle for Fulham, I would suspect, today, unless they can end this 3 consecutive away defeat run. Newcastle were excellent midweek, taught Jose Mourinho a thing or two. The special one, not so special on Tyneside. I would be favouring Newcastle today, unless there was something strange in the air. So let's take a walk through our other matches and just clean this up a little bit. Is the sound okay? Yeah, I don't know what to do. If anyone knows how to change the sound, then please let me know. So got the microphone access here. It's up to the very top here. I don't want to be messing about with it too much. So I am sorry about this. I'll try to get the screen a bit flatter so I can be over the mic a bit more. So let me just see if I can do that. Excuse me for a sec. I just can't solve these. I'm not an IT department, which is a pity. Let's get a little bit nearer, and hopefully it's saying 0 decimal bells, but I'm missing out on the football now. So if anyone has an idea, maybe this will do it. How about that? Does that help? Let me know. So that's a little bit higher. That's better. Okay. Thank you. Right. Thank you very much. Good. So seems to be that solved the problem. Just going to catch up with the goals now. So don't forget these second halves. Palmer and Como. Did you lay over 0.5 goals? It was, I did with 20. Now we can sit on this, can't we? And this is an elite league. So you can see immediately these Saturdays are a lot less hectic when your primary focus is the elite leagues. You can focus more on them. You know the teams very well as well. You know Cesc Fabregas' Como. You can look at their record. The form's good. You know Palmer struggling for goals. You know Palmer tightening the ship at the back, etc. Far more readable than bloody Walsall, isn't it? We're starting to see, having laid at 1.42, starting to see a rise. More importantly, we're starting to see a fall in the draw odds. From the 2.32 I showed you at half time, I think it was. That's half time there, you can see with the flat line. And we're starting to move down. My ideal is to lay that draw at 1.05 to win 300 quid if we get a goal. The only way this will fail is if it ends a score draw. Or, of course, if there's an early goal. But I'm hoping Palmer continue to be a pain in the backside. That's exactly what I was saying with the Hoff. 2.5 goals. Probably both teams to score second half, I would suggest. But you can see today, that's a trick for you to look at. I can't show you odds checker because the bookmakers, yeah, I can't show you it because it's blocked by the Thai authorities. I have to do it through my virtual private server. But if you do have odds checker, go to the football, go to the accumulators and over 2.5 goals and look for the matches where over 2.5 goals is 1.6 and lower. I am recording them. Let me see if I can find the spreadsheet for you. Probably not. 2.5 goals. Goals before half time as well from the half. So up to you if you want to start at the very beginning of the match or if you want to delay that 20 minutes. But they scored before 20 minutes today, the half. So this is what I'm talking about. Over 2.5 goals, 1.5, well, 1.6 or lower. And you'll see all of the German Bundesliga today. Hamburg, Bayern, St. Pauli, Hoff, Dortmund, Augsburg, all 1.6 and lower. Very rare. And you'll see Serie B, pretty much all of them are over evens. I'm recording over evens as well now to see if they've got a good record of over 2.5 goals or a poor record. And you can see that's a potential angle. Laying over 1.5 goals, first half goals in a match with 2.1 for over 2.5 goals. Plenty of bet and go ideas. The only way they'll start is when I've got enough data under my belt. But some exciting stuff. Goal from Lecce. Newcastle opening up against Fulham. That's likely to be the end of the match with Fulham struggling so badly away from home. Udinese do love a score draw, at least they did last season. But I don't know too much about Lecce. This was about right for me. An Udinese lead at home. They have been pretty good at home. Hamburg have improved markedly since going a goal down.
Has been suspended.
So that's something for us to look at second half. 3 shots on, 6 off, 3 corners, 1.05 to 0.212. It looks as if Wolfsburg still going to have struggles creating enough chances today to put a lid on this one. That suggests, as well as that 2-1 and 4-0 recent home wins for Hamburg, possibilities of them getting an equaliser second half. So that would be on my radar for sure. And all the while, my £20 liability, how much would I make now? Wouldn't be much. £8.40 minus 20. But you can see the idea, can't you? You're creating value by just sitting on it and waiting for those draw odds to drop in matches where you know at least one of these sides either struggles for goals or makes it hard for their opponents to score goals. So Hamburg would be one on the radar. Bayern Munich, this is clearly post-Champions League woe, and I suspect Sir Harry of Kane might be rested today, along with Luis Diaz et al. Hoff, possibility of Heidenheim getting on the score sheet. That's what the Hoff tend to do. Viking and Bryn, no great interest there. Hamburg and Leipzig, we can get rid of Augsburg and Leipzig. Thank you very much, Robert. So, yeah, that looks to be me moving the decimals up helps you. So thank you for pointing that out anyway, the problems. Oh, that's going to be interesting. A Sunderland goal because Chelsea have an exceptional expected goals record. So let's bring that one up. That draw could be vulnerable at some point. Just get rid of a few of these. No immediate rush. I wouldn't be laying the draw just yet. But Chelsea are post-Champions League, but they do have an exceptional way of creating chances. Really good XG. So does Manchester United, by the way. Creating plenty of chances. Just need that Ruud van Nistelrooy. If they had that up front, it'd be a different story this season. So just clean up a few of these. Make our way down to England. No goals coming in. So there we go. Starting at the Championship. Blackburn and the Saints. Have to be something compelling today, really. Hull and Charlton. This looks like it has potential. 3 consecutive wins for Hull as well. I have watched them play recently as well. That could be one. to interest us. Get rid of the liquid matches in the FA Trophy. League One will have to be the odds-on favourites or any red cards or nil-nils at half-time that you might be able to take on. Southampton have the opener against Blackburn Rovers in a tough-to-call match. Let's work our way down to the Premier League. How is that progressing? Here we are. Newcastle and Fulham. Newcastle have that lead. Fulham vulnerable. Chelsea and Sunderland. Not much to report early on. They're finding their feet, these two. It could be another post-Champions League fatigue for Chelsea today. Sunderland's problem really is finding that second goal often enough. None against Palace, one against Forest away, none against Man United away. They have got a single goal, but they're playing a side with 8 and 2. Really solid form, scoring 5 against Ajax. And Sunderland are not Ajax, that's for sure. Probably come alive second half, this one, if it doesn't conclude itself. Looks like Chelsea have done the job already. Have to wait and see. And there's that Spezia goal against Avellino. Did you lay the draw in that particular match? The important thing is to keep an eye on the stats, which I was unable to do. But you can quite clearly see that would be a good candidate, wouldn't it, for laying the draw. That's the Viking goal disallowed. Just going to have a look at confirm that Premier League scoreline. Yeah, it's 1-1. 1-0 to Newcastle. Yep, so no surprises. So we're just taking it a bit easier today with League One, League Two, and we're focusing more on the elite leagues because they are more readable. We don't want to be blowing our dough on yet another Saturday. It's a red card for Huddersfield against Wickham. Which league was that in? That's League One. It's a match to follow. Get this one up. So we're going to go and have a look at English League One. We want to see the reaction to that red card. Is it going to be as good as what you've seen in the Avellino match? Very, very good stats from them. I should have played that one, really. So can Wickham take advantage? If that Huddersfield red is confirmed after 25 minutes. Pre-match, it was 2.1 home favourite, so they really should make it count. It's certainly a match to look out for. Bayern Munich, obviously, post-Champions League holiday for them at the moment. Not getting much done. That's why laying at 1.2 with that low liability, because they haven't turned up, is the best form of attack post-Champions League. Just want to have a look at the team news. St Johnstone doing a job today, well worth following in the Scottish Championship because they have been a very good trading side because they're newly relegated and enjoying it. Watch out for Partick Thistle today. I'll keep an eye on them. Second in the league and have been reliable enough themselves. Mönchengladbach and Bayern Munich. Just want to have a look at the lineups. Yes, as you can see, some real changes. Well, no, you've still got Diaz, Kane and Olise playing. But Jackson up front now. Blimey. They've got the old checkbook and pen out, haven't they? That is a hell of a forward line. Blimey. And a big surprise that it's 0-0. Let's just get the My Games back. So we've got, as you can see, Dender, a goal up against Westerlo, one of our odds-on favourite matches. It's not going to do you any harm just to check it out. And all the while, Palmer is quiet, isn't it? That's what I like to hear. I haven't got the Belgian matches there. Okay, there it is. Westerlo and Dender. So just want to have a look at the reaction from Westerlo. That's why I target odds on favourites. You want to look at the reaction from the odds on favourite. Does it marry with their pre-match odds? Looks as if they're reacting okay after 27 minutes, not knocking out the park, but that's what you want to see, isn't it? Elsewhere, waiting for the second half for Hamburg. It looks a compelling case, doesn't it? And again, maybe using John H's both teams to score. No, you should have done that at the very beginning, no. But it's just, I can't discount a 0-2 here against a newly promoted side. That's all the reason I would get involved here. But you can see the longer we wait, the more expensive it becomes. This is going to be a little pricey. 20 quid. But it's all dependent on how much this liability comes to. If you're backing 1-2, that would be 20, 26 in total. It's all about what you can win, though. So that's a £26 liability. Are you willing to take the hit? Because you can be backing Hamburg now at 5.5 to win a possible 84 there. With a lay there at 1.07, adding another 20 to the kitty. So that's 120 or 100 quid for a 26 liability plus the liability on Wolfsburg. Are you willing to take it? We can give it a go. I'm going to give it a go. It's up to you if you want to follow in. It is quite a hefty one. So I'm looking to win the amount I want to play with. The ideal way to do this John H idea is right at the beginning, right after that goal there. But I was waiting for Hamburg's reaction, and it looks a good one, doesn't it? So that's 20 quid. That's your biggest problem. But it covers 0-2, covers 0-3, because it's an established side against a newly promoted, with 57,000 fans, by the way. Both teams to score. No, I do this because it worked with Roma midweek. Saved me on the Roma match. So the best way to do both teams to score now is right there, isn't it? Not here. But we will see if it pays off. I'm looking at the awful form for this Wolfsburg side. Just hoping it resurrects today. Conceding 2 or 3 goals as well for fun. But look at the potential return for the bigger risk. It's going to be 106 quid if they can pull it off. But your worst case scenario here would be a 40, a £66 loss in total if it gets anywhere near 1-3. Okay, but we're pinning our hopes on this a little, aren't we? And the fact they're at home to 67,000, 57,000. Anything of interest? Not really. Hope you're all okay over in YouTube. Sunderland equaliser, just about to get on that one as well. And Sampdoria Frosinone. So let's just take a walk through. 72nd minute. Now, how much can I make playing that draw? Unless that's the Parma match. As soon as I get to it, the goals come in, of course. No, the draw is now 1.6. Don't forget, I've got this to play with. £19.60. Round it up to 20 quid. I can play with this. Or I can have a free punt. I can cash in that 8, have a free punt for 8 quid. But I'm going to have a look at how much I could make at 1.6. You can boost that to £32 profit, -8. And that's a free bet, as long as it doesn't end in a score draw. Now, have Parma been keeping a lid on Como? Indeed they have. 0.24 XG for Como. That means the chances that Parma are giving them are awful. And you can see it's just flatlining, which is exactly what we saw Parma against Genoa. So I'm going to be hopeful if I can get those draw odds on a little bit lower. Get a bit more profit if we get a single goal. We can get rid of this now. That's your ideal scenario, isn't it? A good reaction to going a goal down. So we want to see that from Bayern. We haven't really seen it from Bayern. have we? Now we can have a look. Bristol Rovers and Crawley. See that kind of a reaction. That's in English League 2. So we can have a look at Bristol Rovers and Crawley. English League 2. Where are they? Crawley and Bristol Rovers. Just want to see the reaction to the red. Is it going to be a good one? So Westerloo's reaction to going a goal down to Dender. That's the kind of reaction you want to see from an odds-on favourite, isn't it? Is that compelling enough evidence for you to be looking at an equaliser here for Westerloo? Dender are on a poor run. They were newly promoted a couple of seasons back and they look to be reverting to relegation fodder at this juncture, don't they? Are you tempted? Are you tempted? Well, we can have a look. And again, if I'd have been a bit more alive, I would have got on both teams to score no straight away. If we're tempted in these lower tiers, I think this has to be part of the trick. Don't forget, you don't have to do the full. You could do something like 25. Have yourself a predetermined loss of 15 quid, perhaps. This will ensure that it's not costing you too much. Up to you. If you wanted a full liability, that's costing you 11. And Dender 1-2 as well, 8.6. That's very decent. To win 40 quid, not going to cost you much at all. So that's £11 liability here, 5 liability here. Ordinarily, you'd be laying over 1.5 goals, wouldn't you? Liability would be a lot lower, but you are at the behest of the killer 0-2s, aren't you? Particularly in these lower tiers. Everything looks rosy. Walsall looked better than this last week. They looked much better, dominating everything, and they did nothing. So you have been warned. That's why I'm personally going to have to be doing this in these lower tiers. I'm just getting fed up with that 95th minute off the arse of the goalkeeper, 0-2. So that's covered. That's covered. You can go straight to the match odds now and split your stake. And hope that we've got an odds-on favourite delivering, and hope as well that Dender fall foul and don't score that second goal. So laying Dender half stake as liability, backing Westerlo half stake. That will leave you with a £60 on Westerlo and everything covered. The only things that aren't covered are the 1-3s. You could even do a 1-3 if you fancied it, because it's such huge odds. That is a killer scoreline, 1-3. But we have to stop hedging somewhere, don't we? Let's be honest. But it's only going to add another quid or so to the kitty there. You can see. There, it's just below 40, but it's only added another £1 odd. And then we can sit back then and just hope that this plays out as we expect it to play out. So let's have a look. Any of our odds-on favourite matches here not really coming up in these lower tiers. Nothing doing in Premier League, but Chelsea lay the draw second half, a potential there. Middlesbrough as well. Wrexham, I don't expect that second goal from Wrexham. So it's all fine so far, Middlesbrough and Wrexham. And Bayern Munich post-Champions League would be my only reasons for this malaise here. Although Borussia Mönchengladbach likely have taken a beating, haven't they, in recent weeks? This is their reaction, even down to 10. They don't want to cock this one up. And in the lower tiers, Barrow and Barnet, stick that on our roster. Odds-on favourite, a goal down. English League 2. Barrow and Barnet, there it is. Now you look at that compared to Westerlo. Barrow and Barnet. Look at it compared to Westerlo. You can see Westerlo's odds-on favourite, looking like they're performing like an odds-on favourite. Barnet, old Alf Barnet, not looking like he's performing like an odds-on favourite. Momentum, Westerlo, going up and above the opponent's momentum. Momentum for Barnet, nowhere, isn't it? It's static. It's like the Palmer match. This is exactly what you want to see for a 0-0, by the way. Not what you want to see for a favourite, a goal down. So, momentum plays, for me, a key role in determining angles in or confidence in matches. Palmer and Como, let's head on back, having delayed a little bit longer. Let's just get these ones up. Be good to show in the video tomorrow. John H's idea. Hope he's not on commission for these. So let's go Palmer and Como.
This market has been suspended.
Hopefully that's not the Palmer match, because I wanted to start looking at laying. No. Now, don't forget, I've got £20 to play with. I could even cash out now and play with £10.76, risk-free. You could have that on any of these three outcomes. So you can see, by being creative like this, you can create for yourself risk-free trading opportunities or risk-free bets. You could put a tenner on Palmer at 8 to win, or a tenner on Perry to win at 6. We're getting to the stage now. Do I pull the trigger? Now, look at the profit I'll make, up to 50 quid. Isn't that great? Now, we're getting to the stage now. The draw odds are going to go down a lot quicker. Only the brave will be rewarded. Because that's tempting, isn't it? To make 50 quid minus your £8 liability. But assess Fabregas' side, I think. Will avoid this. I'm going to have to get a drink. Will avoid this for the 3 points, I would suspect. So look at them coming up momentum-wise at the end of, or heading towards 85 minutes onwards. So we are flirting with a single goal wins it territory now. So am I going to take that 50 quid free bet, or am I going to hold out for even bigger rewards? Because don't forget, Palmer and Como, I could have laid at 102. I could have laid anywhere. That's what I'm after today. See if I can get a very, very low odds lay for that 20 quid. Jurgen von Ammo, this was one of our 1.6 and lowers. Over 2.5 goals. You can see the potential, can't you? Mostly second half goals. So let's take a walk through. Hope you're all okay over on YouTube. So Palmer and Como, every second I wait, I am vulnerable to a goal, but I will get shorter and shorter and shorter lay odds. We can get rid of Avellino now. Spezia have done the job. That's what you want to see against 10 men. So look at that, and look at that compared to these red-carded matches. That's your template. You're not seeing it, are you? From Crawley. You're seeing a little bit of a reaction, 1-1-2. You're not really seeing it for old Barnet, are you? And you're not seeing it from, well, you got it from Wickham, so we can get rid of that one immediately. That's your template up here. Boom, tick. 21 shots, tick. 6 corners against 10 men. That's the momentum you want.
This market has been
So we'll be waiting to see that from these two. Particularly interested in this one as well, because if you're laying, you can lay a team leading down to 10. You're going to get, of course, shorter odds. Tranmere and Chesterfield. I'm glad that wasn't Palmer. Now they're starting to wake up, aren't they? Now could be a time for me to bail out of this one. The momentum is starting to rise. Now, I bet you this is going to go all the way down to 1.1. But this is the reality of it, isn't it? You don't want to miss out. Don't forget, only a score draw will scupper this. So I've got a full 20 quid to work with now. There we go. 56 quid if a single goal is scored between now and the end of the match. Can it be done? We will see. That's what you want to see from Hamburg. Liking this. Liking this. 116 straight out of the block second half. Gives us a bit of confidence that they will score the next goal. If there is going to be a next goal. So good stuff. And there's Spezia just confirming to us their dominance against the 10 men there. Even a simple match like this is a trading profit, isn't it? That's when you head down to these lower tiers, when you get these kind of scenarios. And it's a lot calmer, isn't it, today, when we're not all over these lower tiers, which just quite simply don't deliver. This might be of interest. Millwall taking a lead against Leicester. I'm not sure of the pre-match odds. Millwall against Leicester. Let's have a look. So we'll just wait for this one to... it's probably a tight match, pre-match. 2.8 the favourite, so it's wide open. It's a difficult one to unpack, this one. Peterborough and Blackpool, no interest there. And poor old St. Pauli, you were rather fearing this from them. They do take a tonking against the big boys, which is a concern. But you can see the over 2.5 goals element starting to kick in, apart from Bayern Munich. Maybe we'll get that second half. Millwall and Leicester will have to be in play stats. It's too tough for me to call, but it was of interest given the fact Leicester are newly relegated, of course. Parma and Como, just out of interest. Oh, it's actually gone up. The draw odds have actually gone up. So some pressure, I think, is beginning to tell. You start to see the momentum just starting to rise ever so slowly as we're getting into the crunch time where one goal wins it. I would still have favoured Como here to get the late winner. They've got a few winners late, particularly at home against the likes of Roma last season, a 91st minute winner. So they do have it in the bag. You know what Cesc Fabregas is like. Great manager. So potential there. But every moment I wait, I could be making a bigger gain. Looking at now, 1.27. You're up to 74 quid now. From 56 to 74, just by waiting a little bit longer. So you see the power of this kind of a technique when you choose the right matches. And Parma looked to be nailed on for that. Crewe and Grimsby, English League 2. Desmond at half-time. Keep an eye on that one. Where are we? 2-2. We'll keep an eye on this one. Could be a busy match second half. We're starting to see something now from Crawley Town, aren't we? In reaction to the 10 men. Probably going to get going second half, I would suspect there. Not seeing anything yet from Barnet, but that's more like it from Crawley. You see the momentum, like the Westerlo match, that's gone, crashed through as we're getting to half-time there. Let's just have a look at our odds-on favourites as we have a walk through. We're involved in this one, got everything covered, bar the kitchen sink. Likely a lay the draw second half, as long as it's not post-Champions League woes. You can see Bayern Munich not scoring. And only the single goal lead for Newcastle. They'll need a second goal, you'd hope, today. Middlesbrough against Wrexham. We're pinning our hopes on that single goal itis for Wrexham staying. And Middlesbrough, I hope, breaking through at some point. It has been a bit of a subdued performance from an attacking perspective for these two. Look at the XG for both of them. It is not the best on the planet, is it? Now, those of you who know the Hoff know that they're probably going to be layable. Heidenheim have had a comeback or two in the past. Against Werder Bremen, came back to 2-2. Hoff, if they're anything under 1.06, bang, there they are. Merry Christmas. Got to lay them for old Lang Syne. Not going to cost you anything. They do score and concede. Heidenheim have had it in the bag, coming from behind in the past. So they'll probably win today, but with that kind of a liability, what's the problem, eh? The goals are flowing, and it's 3-1 to Udinese, and another that over 2.5 goal match there. Boy, is that coming in. Not going to be surprised with that. Take that one off the watch list and look at this. Just to rub it in, how much would I be making now if I laid the draw? Parma and Como. For that £20 liability, you'd be looking at 100 quid now. 105. And still, that's probably a good entry point there, because enough time left in the match from 1.18 down to 1.01 for there to be a goal scored, particularly in a match where this is crunch time. The goal will win the match. So had I got involved there, you'd be on 3 figures. Anything under 1.2, you'd be on 3 figures for that £20 liability. Not bad, eh? You can even cash out of this at some point as well and give yourself a double profit for the sake of a £4 loss if you get a goal. So this has all sorts of permutations to it. From a trader's perspective, the best one, of course, is the value it creates for you. We can get rid of that match. We don't need to be alerted to that. We don't need to be alerted to Djurgården or any of these as well. Parma and Como. Hopefully there won't be a goal there. Just prove my point. For the second consecutive week, you could have got a huge return for a single goal scored in a Parma match. Elsewhere, I'm not going to be playing Croatia today, so we don't need to be alerted to that. So these are the matches of interest, potentially. The negative here with Hamburg is the fact they're newly promoted. I'm going to set the dings differently so I can hear the matches I'm interested in. And we're going to ding the Westerlo match. And the Chelsea match. Don't forget the 1.58 expected goals for Chelsea suggests they should be getting 2 goals on the score sheet today. Middlesbrough as well. And that's it at the moment. Crawley Town potential. They have looked the best,
has been suspended.
or the better candidates, haven't they? Crawley Town for ending that 0-0. Probably best taken on second half. We've got a goal coming in, and the mighty Hoff making it 3-0. So just going to show me their unpredictability. As soon as I take them on, they score. And it's another 2.5 goal match. 2 goals here. Really good candidates for 2.5 goals today as well, given their opponent.
Heidenheim is 3-0.
So we can get rid of that. We don't need that anymore. St. Pauli have had that 3-3 against Dortmund at home, but I don't think they'll be doing it today against Frankfurt. Particularly, look at the gap between the 2 expected goals for these 2 sides. St. Pauli aren't able to create a chance here, and they're being overwhelmed by the amount of chances taken and converted by Eintracht Frankfurt. Now, this is where it gets eye-wateringly profitable for your 20 quid liability at 1.05, 400 quid. Now, if a goal comes in now, I will have to mute the mic because I will be swearing very, very loudly.
Virtus and Telepe
And that
is 1-1.
is a free bet. That is a free bet. So that's the potential there. If I don't get a goal, so what? I break even. I could even get out of this now, and if I do get a goal, I'll double up. Get a goal, double up. Get 56 quid there and £18 there. Make a net £1 loss for an increase of profit 56 plus 18. So it's pretty useful technique. There's a Crawley goal. They were the more likely, weren't they, of the 10 men? They were following that pattern of Westerlo, weren't they? Increase in momentum, shots on, shots off, and they get the equaliser. So probably lacking any interest from me from here on in, that one. That's the only real way to play these lower tiers, isn't it? Just wait for those angles and then wait for the in-play stats to confirm.
This market has been suspended.
And even then, it's difficult to rely on these teams. Is this going to end 0-0? There we go. Second consecutive week now with Palmer. You could have created for yourself a four-figure possible return risk-free. Risk-free late punt to win yourself an eye-watering amount for a small stake. Pretty decent. I'm not going to get involved with that one. We're just waiting on Hamburg. This is my problem. It's a newly promoted side. So for all the huff and puff, they still newly promoted side. Wolfsburg are old dogs. They're established. They've been in the Bundesliga for eons. But they're having a poor season. This could be a good reaction as well from them to playing outside of Champions League sides like Stuttgart, Leipzig and Dortmund. I know Leipzig not involved this season, but they are a Champions League type side. So this is a respite, isn't it? Don't forget their two defeats against Leipzig and Dortmund were only 1-0. So no wonder they're proving a tough nut to crack. Hamburg have created enough chances. They have lost the momentum. And you do get a little worried as a trader when they haven't created that goal from that momentum. So that's my only negative with them so far there. But everything's ticking the box. We've got everything covered. So there's no great panic, Mr. Mannering. It's okay. I don't know what you want to do with Bayern. Up to you. They were 1.29 over 2.5 goals pre-match. That's going to be far better. That could be value. Do you see value in that? We could experiment with something. Well, that's a bit high, laying over 1.5 goals, backing over 2.5 goals. Laying over 0.5 goals covers a 0-0. And you could sit on that for a bit. That's quite high, relatively, isn't it? For this match. Let's just see if we can conjure something up here. So cover my liability. So this covers the 0-0. And then we've got £39.20 to play with. I only win you a 10 at 17 quid. -4. That's a really good play, though, isn't it? Given everything you know about these two sides, the red card, to make yourself £13 risk-free. Oh, no, it's not risk-free, is it? Because we've got to wait for that second goal. So, yeah, my mistake. I'll sit on this for a bit longer. Obviously, some concerns from Bayern today. You would be looking, ideally, if everything is ticking the boxes at 0-3, 1-3, any other away score, which is fitted in with over 3.5 goals. So that could be a bit of value, couldn't it? That's what the market were expecting. And you can only, you don't have to go full liability on this one. If you get a quick goal, And they have started well. You can see that, well, 130. So laying the draw, obvious, but we'll wait and see. You're looking for an avalanche of goals. Any other away score? Does that provide you with any value? Any other away win, 6.8. That's 4 goals or more. 0-3. Any other away win, 6.4, 6.8. Or you could just sit on this and hope Mönchengladbach continue to be a pain. Post-Champions League, the obvious concern there. Well, they're doing everything, aren't they, Hamburg, apart from score? We've still got 20 minutes to go, but we are running out of time if we're looking for the actual win rather than them just drawing. Fulham have an awful away record and 3 consecutive defeats as well to boot. The only Achilles heel today is post-Champions League fatigue for Newcastle. Might need that second goal. That's the only concern. And Chelsea, well, if you followed the research, both teams to score in the last 5 matches. Wish I'd been a bit more alert with that. Just going to get myself a drink. Okay. A little bit better. Okay. So we've got the both teams to score come in. Came in the last 5 for Chelsea. That draw does just itching to be laid, isn't it, in some capacity? Now, compared to Parma, should be a lot lower because Chelsea have such a good expected goals. So let's have a look. Laying over 2.5 goals in this particular case. Is it under 1.42 for Parma, 1.2 here. So the market thinks it's 2 times as likely that we'll see a second half goal here. It's going to be the same liability because we laid the Parma one at 1.4. I'm pinning my hopes on Sunderland frustrating Chelsea. I'm pinning my hopes on Chelsea post-Champions League fatigue. Hopefully we'll get a little bit more value out of this draw, which is decent enough, given the 1.58 XG and the fact they're at home. You could lay that off the bat at 3.3. It would be a full liability. Probably a 19 quid profit or thereabouts, 17 quid, that's a standard. If you cash out with an early goal, it's probably about 11 quid. But definitely a goer second half. And you could be helped by Sunderland as well with their 0.92 expected goals. We did have a goal come in. Oldham and Shrewsbury, no great opinion with that one. Bayern Munich, well, I've got myself a low liability play. Just wait and see if they turn up. Don't need to monitor this one. Chelsea Sunderland, that draw layable at some point. If they can match their average expected goals, a bit under par today. But if they can get anywhere near their average of 1.58, then we're going to be up and at them with that second goal. That was the quick momentum from Sunderland, which is probably the result of that expected goals there. Westerlo at half-time don't seem to be unduly concerned shots on, shots off and corners, but we've seen this in League 2, League 1, and we've seen the opponent win 3-0. So you get the idea with that one. Millwall and Leicester don't have a strong opinion. Neither did the market. 2.5 the favourite. It looks absolutely stalemate, doesn't it? Apart from that single goal, looks very difficult to call. Both cancelling each other out. Very tight shots on, shots off, and corners. And Leicester City, not the kind of performance you expect of a newly relegated side. So Jamie Vardy's in Italy now, isn't he? He's playing for one of the Italian sides. Can't remember which one, but it's a very obscure side he plays for. Could even be Cremonese or someone like that. Or Lecce, somebody like that. Middlesbrough, no shots on, 3 off, no corners. They've been kept very quiet. You are concerned here that the momentum is flat as a pancake. It's a very good defensive display from Wrexham. It's also positive for us that that second goal for Wrexham is not looking likely as yet. So we remain hopeful here. I'm pinning my hopes on Wrexham not or having trouble scoring that second goal. They certainly have trouble scoring it at home. So hopefully that will be compounded away. Hamburg are doing everything apart from score, as you can quite clearly see. 2.16 XG. Hull against Charlton was on my watch list.
Goal. Hull Charlton is 1-0.
I don't know why, but they were on the watch list and they've scored. So we're just on a holding pattern at the moment with a few of these matches. We've got everything covered thanks to John H's both teams to score no. So hopefully that will come to our rescue on what is normally for me a losing day. A Saturday can be, because I just trade too much. This is far more civilized, isn't it? We're just treating the peripheral leagues with a bit of touching, giving them a bit of distance. Just bring up a few 0-0s, particularly with that expected goals there. Peterborough against Blackpool. Well, Peterborough will be a little aggrieved based on that if they don't pull that one off. A few of these matches with good in-play stats from the lower tiers. We'll see if that gives you any angle later on. Oldham against the Shrews, again, just based on what you're seeing there. There is a suggestion of an Oldham equaliser, isn't there? Lower tiers, not going to be playing them. So we wait for the second halves to begin. So no surprises there. Get rid of that. Oh, Hamburg. I could do with this ending 0-1 now, to be honest with you, because 1-1, we're going to end up with a loss. Both teams to score no will have died. 2-1 won't come in, and we'll lose on the draw. So this is the negative element of all of those insurance covers. I wonder if you can start cashing out if they're just not turning up. We can have a look. That's the Hamburg match. So this is the insurance at the moment. Is it providing us any profit? No. And another method of doing insurance, I suppose, could be to wait.
This market has been suspended.
Can you imagine if you can be backing that 1-2 at 16s for half the liability? So there's no profit to be had there. Both teams to score no will be seeing a profit. Now we've got a goal in one of our matches of interest. Heard with a ding. £19 loss there. £16 there. Profit. So that's a £3 net loss. And a £4 net loss. So it's £7 net loss if you want to get out of this because they haven't turned up. Now, if we get a 1-1, you're going to have a £6 loss. £21 loss. And £2.93 gain. So you see This is the negative element of this. We don't want a 1-1. There's the first goal for Bayern Munich, 63rd minute, still huffing and puffing, aren't they? And that was one of our dings.
This market has been suspended.
So I might have to start thinking about getting out of this Hamburg. And that's the goal disallowed, I would suspect, for Bayern. So you're going to have to think about getting out of the Hamburg. Because we were looking at that 1-1 early enough, weren't we? To get things up and rolling. But they've just not done it. Time is running out. Momentum is dropping. And this is your typical performance. And it was there. Those 1-0 defeats against Leipzig and Dortmund tell you
Oldham Shrewsbury is 1-1.
they are very defensively sound. Apart from, well, Stuttgart just electrified them. And Augsburg, I think, might have been a red card affected match, that one. But the 1-0s against Leipzig and Dortmund, it has resurrected itself today. So I might have to get out.
This market has been suspended.
I'm not comfortable with that at all. It's 1-1. You're going to see losses throughout. So let me show you the get out. I'm going to make £17 here if this gets matched. We've got another goal come in. And that's the Bayern Munich goal. So let's just break off and have a look at that. So how has this affected the 3.5 goal market? It's got it up and running. Just got to wait for it to tidy up as well. Just got to wait for the back and the layouts to just tighten up a little bit. But we're up and running. We could do with a second goal now before the 70th minute. And there's the Barnet equaliser. So the 10 men are in trouble. But I couldn't have seen it here, to be honest with you. It wasn't as compelling as Avellino, was it, from earlier on?
Vero Barnet is 1-1.
But they got the goal they needed. So Hamburg and the Wolf, let's see if we can get ourselves out of this. Because it's going to be a big loss on the 1-1. So that's something to factor in now. If we're going to be doing this insurance.
Wimbledon Burton Albion is 0-1.
So both teams to score.
This market has been suspended.
£17.91 profit. But that's whether you can cash out or not. £21 loss there. And in the correct score market, a £4.53 loss there on the 1-2. You probably could have done 0-2 as well. Well, no, you have to do 0-2, 0-3, etc. 1-1 can be covered, but then you're increasing your liability. But that said, it's an accumulated loss, quite a hefty one. So I'm going to have a think about this one. Old-fashioned delaying, of course. You just be waiting for that momentum to rise at the end of the match and then just simply lay that draw. Scorelines coming in. Anything of interest? Not really in the Championship. I was only really looking at Partick Thistle. They've conceded, so that might be of interest for me. I don't know what if they were favourite or not, Partick Thistle, but they are second in the league in Scotland. So I'll just have a look at their stats. Scottish Championship. I don't know who was favourite in this one, but it looks like Ross County are, and that's Wraith. Yeah, that's the right one. Wraith and Partick. Wraith have taken the lead. 2.6 the favourite, so there we go. Not fancied by the market today, despite performing well this season. So there's a Barnet equaliser. Looks like they've all taken advantage. So a pity I didn't play any of those. I was waiting. But you can see that technique for the red cards, it just gives you better candidates, doesn't it? All the way through. So Hamburger and Wolfsburg. Let's take a look at this. 80, £20. So let's see if I can get out of that. Get out of this. And get out of this. So the insurance has played its part. It's insured. I can get out of there with a minuscule liability compared to what it would be if it turned out 1-1. So that's £21 there. So £24 loss there. Okay, that's covered by this £20 profit here. So a net loss of £4 so far, and 5 net loss of 9 compared to if this ended 1-1, £6 loss here, £20 loss here. So I'm happy with that. And John H's has done a job. It's done its job. It's looked after my bank. Fulham goal against Newcastle. I don't know how to play this one. Do you trust post-Champions League Geordies? Fulham certainly need to end 3-match losing run and all sorts. Those of you who are looking at Peterborough, do you trust English League One? This doesn't excite me anymore in this league. They're probably going to lose 1-3 now.
This market has been suspended.
Do you fancy the equaliser there from Peterborough? Goal has come in, and the goals are coming for Bayern Munich. As I suggested, if we get that goal before the 70th minute, you should start to see some action. See, this is a good example of the insurance doing its job, isn't it? Now, arguably, you could be laying the wolf 109, 106 later on if you wanted to eat into that, if you get that late equaliser. But let's go back to Bayern Munich, see how our adventures into 3.5 goals is looking. So it's all relative to your risk reward, isn't it? Your liability. So it's about a 1-to-1. So that's 20, that's 17, that's 30, that's 27, 28. So you see that it's all relative to the amount of risk. You could actually just take the green here if you fancied it. 20 minutes to go. It's going to be a bit hit and miss whether they're going to get the 4. But it's all about the timing of the third now. What you can do, you can give yourself until this hits 0.00 for them to score a third goal. If they could score a third goal, hopefully they get a bigger green. So it's up to you now. Or you could just look at the liability. It's very small. You could even see how much it will cost. Probably a £5. No, it costs a lot more than a £5. 18 quid to negate that. You still have yourself a risk-free punt if you fancy that. So I might give that a go. Risk-free punt on overs. You can sit back now, pipe and slippers, if that gets matched. And we can be up and at 'em. So let's just have a walk through. There. That was the red flag, newly promoted. Everything else ticking every single box. Another red flag, of course, with that Leipzig Dortmund 1-0 defeat for the Wolf. This is much needed because their season is falling down, isn't it? Much needed. And playing newly promoted. So a bit of an enthusiastic market. Well, not really. 2.2 the favourite. But the in-play stats had me convinced to go get involved.
This
Wimbledon
market has
and
been
Burton.
suspended.
I'm looking at that 0.97 expected goals for Wimbledon. That might be of interest. Or what other reason was I interested? Might have been a 0-0 at half time, perhaps. I think that could have been the reason I was interested in that one. But 0.97 XG, I'm not going to be looking at too many of these trades. Well deserved for Fulham. It's a difficult one to play, this one for me today, just for that slight fatigue issue for Newcastle post-Europe. Hope you're all okay over on YouTube. Could lay half stake on the draw now to cover liability and save half for very low. Good idea, Michael. Yeah. So it's a good thing to use. I like that, John H's idea there, and it is flexible enough that we can bail out of everything. We can absolutely bail out, and we still suffer very little. But don't forget, you can get involved later on again. We've got the ticks in the boxes. We've got the momentum rising. We've got 2.39 XG, but we're running out of time. You want to see that starting its upward trajectory as we're entering the end of the match. It's all about the angle. You want to see an angle like this one, starting to move upwards. So we could have this Hamburg match waiting for us. Is this a third goal? Probably a third goal for Bayern Munich. Let's get the Hamburg match up. If you wanted a late lay, 109, 106. Or you could start eating into this if you fancied it. So, for example, you just start eating into that, and the liability is costing you 48p. And as this drops, you can start doing another two, eating into this and hoping there'll be that goal. The liability will increase only marginally, so you're not going to be facing a huge bill.
Barrow Barnett is 1-2.
So that's how I would eat into this. Just wait for a bit longer as well. Just keep eating into it. Just preparing ourselves in case we get the expected goal of the 2.47 XG today for Hamburger. Good defensive display from Wolfsburg. You can see they're fighting for their life. A really good defensive display. Anything else for anything else? Still quiet as a mouse, Middlesbrough. Goodness me. What on earth's gone on with them? No shots on target, 4 shots off and a corner. Again, it's another side not performing to expectation. And again, we've done all of the insurance plays. We can always bail out, don't forget. Just not turning up. 1.7 home favourite on a run of 2 consecutive wins. Bit jaded, you'd have to say, today. So that's another example of how we might be able to bail out as we did with Hamburg. So we'll be waiting for Middlesbrough. Westerlo as well, again, doing everything apart from score. So now we've seen the Achilles heel with John H's idea is if it remains 0-1, the 75th, 80th minute. You don't want the match ending a 1-1 because you will suffer a full liability loss on both of your insurance plays, and you'll have only a small gain or a marginal loss on the draw. So if it is a 1-0 late on, or they're just not doing it today, you can always bail out. So we can have a look at Middlesbrough with that in mind. You can see as this drops, I can get another £2 for 30p. So I can buy this back for a very small amount in case we get a late goal. Just digging into that as this goes down. 1.13 again, I would be interested in that. It's about 26p. That brings me back another £2 here. And this
market has been suspended.
is rising very, very slowly.
This market has been suspended.
It's already covered anyway, isn't it? Pretty much already covered here. But we're just trying to get some of this in case we get that late equaliser, which all the metrics are suggesting. So I'll go in again. That's going to cost me 28p or something. And we're down to 16 now from 24. And it's not costing us anything, really. So it's there we go. That's going to cost me 20p to get another £2 back. No surprises there. 2-0 for Partick. So I'm glad I checked the market there. 2.6 the favourite, telling you it could be either side today, despite this lot being second in the league. Probably, well, not their day today, but they have had their good season. Partick Thistle looking to go up. So can I nick a little bit more? It's dropping ever so slowly, isn't it? Which is a good sign for us because it's suggesting some pressure on that draw. Got some goals coming in. Nothing of any great interest. So all the while, I'm now down to 12 quid if we get a late goal, and I might as well have some fun and get rid of all the rest of this because it's costing me nothing. A late set piece could save my bacon. That's gone from 24 to 26, but that's gone down from 24 down to 6. So really good stuff. So 0-1 is a problematic scoreline. Will that have to be covered as part of our hedging process? And in future, can we do a correct score hedging as a trading outcome with break evens? That could be of interest. You have a 0.00 on the 0-1. So we'll get rid of that now. Newcastle and Fulham, don't have a strong opinion here, I'm afraid. I've just got that feeling with the likes of Chelsea and Newcastle. We've got that Champions League hangover, which is causing some concern. Barnsley and Rotherham, I had that eyed up for some reason. We've got an odds on favourite at home. Now look at that. It is a local derby as well, so I probably won't be playing this derby-style match. Could be anything. And you can tell that by the scoreline. 64th minute. Who's the dominant force here? Quite clearly Barnsley, isn't it? But it's a local derby, so let me be disciplined and take that one off the watch list completely. Now, Chelsea. We covered that 1-1, didn't we? Let's have a look at the Chelsea match now. We covered that 1-1. I'm playing on the possible malaise. Now, what you can do here, you can cash out. You can lay the draw for a £7 liability note.
Has been suspended.
Or you could back Chelsea for a £7 and have a free
This
pack.
market has been suspended.
But by waiting, don't forget this time I've got a £40 profit to work with. So let's take a look. How much profit can I make? £8.40 will be lost. This will be nearly, oh no, that would be exciting. This will be a little less subdued. 15 quid. Oh, 26. So 26 minus 8. So 18 quid. If this match ends a draw, break even. If it doesn't end in a score draw above 1-1, you will profit. So you can see, even in a match like this, you can just create for yourself a little bit better value just by doing a Fonz and sitting on it. Can I get a little bit more out? Well, the market will tell me, the stats will tell me. A little bit subdued still. We've got an equaliser for Westerlo. So let's take a look at that. It's not a very good timed goal because it's not a very well timed goal, this one. But you can see the green starting to prepare itself. So we've made a loss of 11 quid here. So bear that in mind. This is still alive. So £11 and 5. It's a £17 possible loss for a £16 gain here. But you won't make a £14 profit, will you? Because you've already made 11 quid loss. So up to you how you want to play this. Look at the amount of time left in the match. Weigh that up. 25 minutes left. Second thing to look at, the stats. 1.21 expected goals. Scored when they were on top, which is precisely what you'd want to see. You want to see them scoring at the top of the momentum. Like this, near the top. Here, you want to see them zoom and then score. Top of the momentum, scoring. Top of the momentum, scoring. So we are in a good position here. Having a look at Dender's stats, they haven't been able to deliver anything. Just one shot on target, second half. 5 shots on 9 off 7 corners. I think we're set up well here for the possibility of that 60 quid profit. What you can do, you could have a look at negating your liabilities in the match odds market if you wanted. You've got the 1-2 for Dender covered though, so you don't really need to be wasting money. You've got the 1-2 for Dender covered. So I will leave it as is and see how it plays out. We've got the next goal covered. Simple as that. We'll make a niggly loss on the draw there. Oh, Paris Saint-Germain scoring already. Absolutely no surprise there. But they are on a run of under 2.5 goals, Paris Saint-Germain. Only 2 overs. So this might not be the emphatic performance you expect today. Let's go through some of the leagues that I haven't been looking at. And it's a lot more comfortable, isn't it? Not fixating on these Bundesligas and these lower tiers. You get a better quality of candidate in the elite leagues. Even odds-on favourite in a top flight league, much better candidate than an odds-on favourite in an English League 2 match. Much prefer, more confidence in Westerlo, isn't it? And I know Dender anyway. They've got a vibe of a side who's going to be in the relegation dogfight, so that was a good play. Birmingham, 10 shots off target, mate, and 4 corners, mate. You know what I mean? Or
This market has been suspended.
wonder if they'll have any fight in them. They have dominated the momentum, Birmingham. You can see that. They are above the blue line, which means they are dominating as things stand. You could get some value in that lay of the home favourite. But as you know, when we're going down to these lower tiers, make sure you've got a compelling argument. You know all about this one. It's a local derby. Barnsley are shouting out to equalise, aren't they? But it is a local derby. Are you with the stats, or are you going to leave this one alone, being as it is a derby match, and they can be absolutely wide open? So nothing else much doing from these lower tiers. I'm not too fussed about them today. And I haven't got a whole raft of liability out there, have I? I've got Middlesbrough out, and they might have to have a look at soon because they're starting to climb up the momentum ladder, aren't they? But we could have done that with a goal before 70 minutes, because then we'd be heading into score draw territory, which is a failure for the both teams to score no and the correct score play, isn't it? Good old-fashioned lay over 1.5 goals, back Borough +1 covers all of that, covers the draw, doesn't it? 0-3. We're just a goal away from a free punt. This was always going to be the worry that they would just cancel out at 3 goals up, having secured the win. So you expect another goal, or you want to take your tenner and just stick that in the bank. If you're aiming for £100 green
This
each
market has been
session,
suspended.
this is 10%, isn't it? But it's a free punt. So you can take a tenner or have a free punt on another goal for buying. So that's a really good example, isn't it? Having faith with the pre-match odds and then attacking it second half.
This market has been suspended.
Over 2.5 goals was the value second half. It was the play second half, but I extended it to over 3.5 goals because of the pre-match odds. And again, 1.29 over 2.5 goals at the start of the match. Another one delivering, as you've seen in Germany today. Waiting for Westerlo. Chelsea, I'm not too interested, but I would be looking at the expected goals for Chelsea to do something at some stage, or looking at the cavalry coming off the bench. This is the kind of match they could do with Cole Palmer, because he is one of those who can just Turner-type match. So Garnacho scoring and Garnacho off. Is it a first 11? Well, João Pedro has been in excellent form. Garnacho, Gui, Neto, Caicedo. Any ammunition on the bench? Not really. There's a few of them on the injury list. I'm not too keen on laying the late draw there. I don't have a very strong opinion. Just you can see the momentum. You can see the shots on, shots off from Chelsea. Up to you if you wanted to pull the trigger at some point. Is it the one I've got covered, the Chelsea match? I think I have, haven't I? So we can have a look at that one. Have I got the Chelsea match covered? Indeed I have. So what I can do, I could cash out of this now and have a £13 free bet on Chelsea at 2.52 if I wanted to. Or I could look for a bigger return. Laying the draw now at evens will win me £39.20 minus £8.40 here. So what would you do? Would you have the 13 quid back Chelsea for 13 quid at 2.54? You make about £32 or something. Let's see if my Carol Vorderman maths is accurate there. 13 quid. How about that for a bit of Carol Vorderman maths? Blimey, I surprise myself some days. So you've got that. You're going to make a bigger reward going neutral. Now, the problem with Chelsea, their expected goals is so good. Their squad is so solid. They can score a goal at any second. So, unlike Palmer, not the player, but the team, Palmer, we might have to get involved a little bit earlier. But it's still a decent return for a single goal. 41 minus 8. So when would you pull the trigger? It rewards the waiting person, doesn't it? It rewards the one who waits the longest. Yet more 22 shots, can't score a second half goal. Welcome to English League One, English League Two. It's absolutely appalling, isn't it? How much money I've blown on those bloody leagues. Bristol City and Birmingham, no shots on, 12 off 5 corners. Plenty of secondary pressure from Brum. You can see that since half time. It's all been them, but it's all been shots off target. Short enough odds for a straight lay of Bristol City if you fancied it. Momentum is with Birmingham. Shots off target with Birmingham. But that's the elephant in the room. No shots on target. Westerlo, like that, 1.31 XG. They have hit their high on 2 occasions now, 3 occasions. They need to hit it a third time, get us a winner. 15 minutes to go. Not another draw, please. That's where you get injured doing these 2.5 goal, both teams to score plays, is that these 1-1s. Millwall and Leicester, I don't have a strong opinion. So why don't I just take this one off the watch list. Middlesbrough, again, I might have to do a Gareth Bale here because I don't want a 90th minute 1-1. It will just induce a whole lot of liability on me. So you might have to do what you did in that other match with Hamburger. They're just not turned up. 74th minute, it's getting far too late. The only way for you to be safe here is if it ends 0-1. Everything will be covered and you get all of your returns back. Apart from your loss on the 2-1 in the correct score market. You get your both teams to score no back. There's a fair enough from Wrexham. Very good defensive display from them. But I would have thought you'd have seen a lot more from Middlesbrough today. But that's telling its own story, isn't it? 0.35 XG. They've just not been given a chance to do anything. So let me have a look at this, whether I can wriggle out of this misjudgment. So your first proper profit is here. That's 23 quid. Okay, of the £40. So bear that in mind. That's 23. Well, we don't know the true cash out there. So 23 so far, minus 5. That's down to 18. And this is 26. So that would be a £10 loss. £10 net loss. Much better than an accumulated loss. If this ends a draw of £7.18, plus £9.30, 9 and 7 is 16. 16 and 5 is 21. So you could take a £10 loss here now, or you could take the potential £21 loss if it ends in a draw. Are you willing to take that for a £53 profit? Just not turned up, have they? There's nothing, no law telling us we have to stay in. We can be flexible. They showed it earlier on, but they haven't followed up. So I'm tempted to start removing my position at some point here, given the fact it's so late in the match. I would take a 0-2 for Wrexham, to be perfectly honest with you, because I've got that covered. I've got 1-2 for Wrexham covered. I'd be quite happy with a Wrexham goal here, to be honest with you, as long as they don't make it a third. So we've seen now the Achilles heel of John H's plan. It's if it stays 0-1 late on, because 1-1 will be a loss maker for us. Barnet have come from behind against 10 men. Can they finish the job off? Well,
This market has been suspended.
I'm not trusting these Desmonds in League Two unless it's very, very late and very, very low liability. 1.09 or lower. Quite happy to do my weighting in these lower tiers.
This market has been suspended.
Got some suspended markets, but where are the goals? Could do with one there. Chelsea and Sunderland might be looking at laying the draw at some point. So let's have a look. Chelsea and Sunderland. How much profit can I make now with my full liability? Much better, isn't it? This is heading towards 60 quid or 51. Now that's a free punt with 10 minutes to go. This is when Newcastle are probably going to start piling the pressure up. So I'm quite happy with that. Take £8 away from that. All we need is a goal from either of these two, and for it not to end in a score draw, and I'll have made a nice return. Very unexpected, to be honest. I wasn't expecting Sunderland to be so defensively sound. Oh, got a little bit there. So let's get on the rest. And it's a free punt. All covered by that. Now what I might do, if that gets to 30, 35 quid, something like that, cash out of that. And if we get a late Chelsea winner or a late Sunderland winner, you make 59 there and you'll make the green there. So exciting times. I've got my free punt in. How low will it go? We will see. I hope you're all okay over on YouTube. I'll be saying goodbye soon. But it's a lot less hectic, isn't it, today? When we're not focusing on the Czech Republic, Pardubice, and all the rest. They're not good candidates anyway, so these are far better candidates. Because you know the team's a lot better and it's quality footballers. I'm not saying the Warsaw front 11 aren't quality, but from what I've seen the last 2 weeks. Right, suspended market. Okay. It's waiting for... There we go, an equaliser for Middlesbrough. Not what I wanted at all, because now I need the win.
This market has been suspended.
Let's look at the damage. So my instinct was right. I should have got out there just a second ago.
Goal.
Because now I'm looking at a win.
Wrexham is 1-1.
This is covered. We might make a profit on 1-2, to be honest with you. If it gets a little more liquid, we might make a profit there. We're on a break even here. Currently, we're on a £9.30 loss currently. Just got to wait for this to settle down, and we can see whether it's a tolerable loss enough for us to stay in and look for the possibility of a Middlesbrough win. But back in the old days,
This market has been suspended.
no, okay. Back in the old days, +1 and you're safe as houses because this covers the draw. So £2.83 profit here. That will negate that liability. That's lost, £9.30. So we're on a £7 net loss. We don't know about this at all. So correct score market is an awful trading market, isn't it? It takes forever, if at all, to reform, and there's no market forces. So remember that if you want to use your insurance to get out early as well. I wanted to see what kind of a loss. So it's about a £9, about an £11 loss as is, if I got out. But you're on a £7 loss here. 9 and 7 is £16 loss at the moment. If it ends 1-1, 16 and 5 is 21. £21 net loss if it ends 1-1. Okay. Are you willing to take that hit? You could get out now for a £2.70 here. That will negate all of that. £7 there. And you'll only have the loss of this. 9 and 5 is 14. So have a think. It's the timing of that 1-1. That is a great issue. Maybe we have to cover a +1 play as well as doing everything else. So many 1-1s today. What I was talking about earlier on with 3 consecutive 0-0s, I wouldn't have expected them all to end 0-0. Is that going to be the case with these? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 score draws here. Are we going to expect these score draws to end? There's so many of them. It would be a bit of a stretch of the imagination to think they're all going to end 1-1. But we will see. There we go. There's one of them gone already. That's just, it's not playing any form lines or anything. It's just playing the probabilities. If you wanted to dig away at these draws, you only need a couple of them to come in and you can start getting into profitable territory. Newcastle are doing what you want to be seeing if you're a late layer of the draw, and that's the momentum is rising and it's expected goals is over 1. So that's a good combination. Those 1-1s are ending. I've just shown you, look. 1-1, 1-1. So 1-1 ending again. Okay. If you see a whole raft of these kind of score lines in a row, regardless of the matches, you might want to just start ticking off these draws, laying them, and you'll be picking up a few of these late winners. Hopefully enough to cover the liability on the ones that don't produce the goals. I've laid the draw already in Chelsea, so I've not really got a strong opinion on that one. But I'll pass that on to Telegram as maybe a bit later.
Goal. Peterborough Blackpool is 1-2.
And there we go. That's another lay the draw. So we've got Middlesbrough. Frustrating 1-1. Frustrating 1-1 for Westerlo as well. So John H's idea is superb, but it's the 1-1 which is problematic. Chelsea just gone off the ball a little bit at the end, but I've got my free lay the draw in, so I'm not worried. As long as it doesn't end in a score draw above 1-1,
Goal.
I am fine.
WSG Swarovski.
There we go, late winner for Newcastle.
Is 1-0.
That's the 1-1's ending. So remember that in future. If you'd have just done those front 4-1-1s, two of them have come in already, and you're not getting big odds about these later draws, are you? Of course, the ones I've played, Sod's Law, they're all ending 1-1.
Goal. Newcastle Fulham is 2-1.
That's Viking and Bryn. We don't need to know about that. Fulham, we could have laid that draw later on. Probably for me, under 1.15, given it's post-Champions League for Newcastle. But Fulham are on a poor run, 4 consecutive away defeats now for them. Peterborough and Blackpool, you can see, look, the frustrations in this league. 23 shots, 7 corners, and you're losing 1-2. I was joking earlier on saying they're going to lose 1-3, but that's on the board. Goodness me. Chelsea just gone off the boil a little bit. I got a free punt on that, so I'm not worried at all. Birmingham doing everything apart from scoring an equaliser. But if you wanted to lay Bristol City at 1.09 or lower, as they're getting there now, you just never know. But that's the story of the match. It's dominance, momentum dominance, but no shots on target.
Goal. Oldham Shrewsbury is 1-2.
So poor stuff from Birmingham. I wouldn't be laying Bristol City unless it's the 109, 106. Westerlo, another frustrating 1-1. Calling it right. Back in the old day with the +1, you would be getting 100% gain out of these. So now you have to rely on them getting a late winner. Otherwise, we'll have to cover that 1-1 draw in some capacity. So we'll have to have a think how to cover 1-1, 1-2, 0-2. Laying over 3.5 goals covers that. That's going to be a big liability. We'll have to investigate that next time, I think. So we're needing Westerlo and Middlesbrough to pull a rabbit out the hat late on. Barrow and Barnet, you've got some late action from Barnet. They've already come from behind against 10 men. Momentum's rising. 1.72 expected goals, which has been delivered, to be honest. But can they do it? It's when they scored their 2 goals, was when they were at this momentum. If the odds are short enough, it's doable enough. Good story as well in the Barnet match. Well, no, not getting involved just yet. Possibilities that Desmond ending for sure there at some point. And another one arrives, Oldham and the Shrews. So just waiting for the end of these. Westerlo, Middlesbrough, just not crossing the line, are they? So I'm going to have a think about that 1-1. Did the right thing with Hamburger. Chelsea Sunderland I've got covered.
Goal. Oldham Shrewsbury is 2-2.
So just check the Chelsea odds out. Pass that on to Telegrammers. But they got a very bad both teams to score record, don't they? 6 consecutive matches now. Chelsea against Sunderland will be worth laying. I've already got a lay in, risk-free lay. If you looked at the live stream, see how I managed that one. But if you like to lay at 1.15 or lower, Chelsea might give it a late go. It's post-Champions League, so do keep your liability low. So while we're waiting for that, I think I'll say goodnight to you now. I hope you've enjoyed it today. Middlesbrough just scored. Or is that an old?
This market has been suspended.
Would be nice if they did. We've got a ding come in. Oh, look at that. Wow. Laying the draw. Laying the late draw. Come to daddy. Now this is going to be a profit of £8.40 taken away from this. I'm going to have to green up because highly likely Chelsea are going to go for a blast on Sunderland now. So let me make sure I get out I don't want a quick reply. Great return. If you're willing to risk £11, £8.40, you can up your returns on laying the draw from what was that? 3.4 at the start of the half, all the way down to 1.69. Superb stuff. And if you did lay the draw, Chelsea and Sunderland, I was waiting a bit longer, but lay Sunderland now, because Chelsea, you can bet your bottom dollar they're going to be going for that equaliser. I'm not going to be doing that. I've already locked in the profit, quite happy to take that. Unbelievable, Jeff. A great advert to you for neutral playing, isn't it? Great advert for the neutral play. Who's Sunderland's hero today? It's the mighty Chemsdine Talibi. He's a very famous Sunderland surname, that one. Mr. Talibi. So it's all going post-Champions League, pear-shaped for Chelsea. And naturally, of course, Westerlo and Middlesbrough are giving 120%, covering every blade of grass with 2 minutes to go. The absolute tools. Why they weren't doing this since since they conceded the goal, I don't know. It's frustrating, isn't it? You picked the right time, you're with the right team, but they scored the wrong timed goal, or you didn't get out and negate all of those liabilities. But I'm happy choosing the correct matches. I'll say goodnight to you now. Thanks very much for coming along, and I'll see you a bit later on Telegram for a little bit longer, and see you again tomorrow. Have a great weekend.
This market has been suspended.
Oh, suspended market. Any late news? Or is it the end of the match? No, false alarm. Have a great